everyone, and welcome to the poll. Today I'm joined by my usual friends, and, well, apparently one of them turned into a dog, and a face we don't see too often, but are happy to have. So, to this side is Joel from Cape Joel. We also have Caitlin, that sea monster, and we're very, very lucky to be joined by Orem from Orem's Comics. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
We're just
Thanks for having me.
some things here. Yeah, it's your head. Heads are happening around here today. So, alright guys, I gotta tell you, we had a, kind of a light week in comics, so
oh yes,
just be prepared for that, everybody, because it's the 4th week in the month, and therefore things suck. So we of course are going to, still cover comics, still gonna talk about them, still gonna have fun, but just a heads up. So, why don't we kick it off, though, with a Titan. Not the Titans, but a Mad Titan by the name of Thanos. Joel?
Yeah, so Thanos, the newest issue. This, of course, is continuing in the Jeff Lemire solo series for Thanos. He's dying. He's not doing so good. And on top of it, his own son is plotting against him with a whole cadre of Marvel cosmic characters there. You got Champion of the Universe. You got Star Fox. No, not the one who does a barrel roll, but he might as well be.
Maybe if we told him to do
a
one.
barrel roll.
Maybe he would.
Just keep
He
saying
might.
it.
That's the finale. The finale is this Star Fox does a barrel roll and saves everybody.
That's
It's just like a really crudely drawn thing, too.
Yeah.
Just kind of spins.
And there's
Oh, yeah.
and
That's
like
it.
Frog Thor is there, and he's yelling
Yeah.
barrel
Frog
roll.
Thor.
This
For some
works.
reason.
This works.
You joke, but that could happen.
I would love
That's
that.
likely.
I need the return of Pet Avengers desperately.
Pet
That'd be great.
Avengers. Hey, your dog could be on the team. You have a dog, Thor, so there you go.
There's actually a series of fan comics about a golden retriever who is Thor, and Loki is a
Really?
cat.
That'd
Yeah,
be
Loki
awesome.
is a black cat. Thor is a golden retriever, and he's just running around annoying everybody. Tony Stark is also a cat.
I have a friend who has a black cat named Loki, so that's kind of funny.
That's
Nice.
really cute.
But we have 2 cat people on the show. I'm surprised they didn't say, oh, of course Loki would be the cat. That's just straight up dog
Oh,
propaganda
no,
there.
No,
Dog.
that's accurate. Cats are jerks. I love them, but
Yeah.
cats are jerks.
Trickster gods.
Yeah.
The cat
That's
is
all
the
for
is the pet at the pet store. When you pick them up, you go, I can change him.
I love our cats to death, but like, let's be honest, they're the true brains behind Comic Pop. They got all the strings going on.
Incredible.
But yeah, so Thanos, we had seen in the previous issue he got beaten up by the Shi'ar elite, and now he's been dragged off to the Galactic Gulag, the deepest, darkest prison in the entirety of the Marvel Cosmic Universe, where they not only keep you prisoner, but they try and break your very spirit so that you never try and escape. It's very good prison drama, but now with Thanos.
So, does this
Well-
at all tie in with, with what happened with Thor, and like Hela and all of that?
I don't know. The timing on that is very weird.
Okay.
Because the Thanos series had started right around the same time Unworthy Thor started, and they were in 2 different places. But the Thanos and Unworthy Thor said that he had just broken out of the prison that the Ultimates had kept him in. So it's after all of that, we get to the Thanos book that's happening right now with him being sick and everything.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. I mean, like, it's always so bizarre for like characters to be in 2 different books, especially when they make like a big deal about it, and then it's like, but do they go together? I don't know, maybe. Do you want them to? Question mark?
Also, hey, if you're a fan of Hickman's Avengers run, and if you're a fan of former Heralds of Galactus, Terrax the Tamer shows up again in this issue, and we got a whole B-plot with him and Thane, Thanos' son, trying to break into his ship and trying to get a very powerful thing that he has in there. I won't spoil it, even though it has been on a couple covers, but it's really cool,
Yeah.
and once again, if you're a fan of Marvel Cosmic, you'll be like, oh, man!
If you don't want word to the wise, if you don't want like spoilers for end of issue reveal type stuff, don't look at solicits for
No.
covers, because like I don't, and I'm surprised by a lot of the things that happen, like the one that you're talking about, Joel.
Mhm.
Um,
Ooh.
But like literally, it shows you the thing on the next cover, and you're like, well, If I had looked at that ahead of time,
Right? They're like,
that would have been ruined.
Marvel's like, maybe everybody just lives in the dark. Let's just go
Yeah.
with that.
Nobody has the internet and can look up these covers until New Comic Book Day.
Right. Well,
That's-
they're like, well, the previews really come from books, and who reads books anymore?
That's
Oh,
the
wait.
hard thing. That's the hard thing about being a comic book YouTuber and working in the business that we do. Our enjoyment is continually being harmed by our foreknowledge because we want to keep up to date on what's going on. We want to read solicits. We want to be in the know. And because of it, storyline endings and twists are spoiled for us months out.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. It's rough. So okay, Thanos, like they're doing their thing. It's interesting that they're doing a Thanos book right now. I know, it's like, oh, he'll be, eventually in the movies for real, but like we're not quite there yet. So I think it's kind of neat that they're trying to like potentially build to something without it being so obvious that they're doing it just because there's a movie. So that's kind of cool. So let's move on to the Batgirl annual #1 because we have to put that #1 there. Caitlin, what happened in this book?
So Batgirl and Supergirl wind up having an awesome team up where they have to go rescue a psychic or a telepath metahuman from Cadmus. So they wind up breaking into Cadmus together. Hijinks ensue. They do rescue the telepath. However, she winds up going to the Phantom Zone.
Oh,
That was
really?
The whole time. Yeah, was to be broken out to harvest Supergirl's energy in order to get her to the Phantom Zone. Batgirl, saves Supergirl in a way, and they also rescue somebody named Frostbite from Cadmus. And the issue sort of ends there at a little bit of a cliffhanger where things are sort of resolved, but we know we're probably going to get a follow-up issue with the two of them working together and seeing what sort of unfolds with the telepath in the Phantom Zone.
I believe it's continuing in Supergirl.
Nice.
Is it continuing in Supergirl?
Yeah, I think it said something happening in Batgirl, but we ran out of stories to tell in Supergirl, so we're going to continue that in there.
So we're going to go do that. This seems like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, it was really cute. I love those two characters, and getting to see them bounce off of each other and interact was really fun. And I also sort of liked seeing the super dynamic and the bat dynamic with the jealousy of the powers sort of playing out between them. Except both Supergirl and Batgirl are a little bit more socially adept than Clark and Bats are. So for me, that made it a little bit more entertaining.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Because we ended at a point where you could actually see them having a more lasting relationship, which I liked.
That's cool. They used to do a Batman Superman comic, right? So why
Yeah.
not do that with these two characters? It could be like a fun buddy cop romp through the DC universe. That could be
I would
kind
love
of neat,
that.
right? Like, come on.
Be a ton of
It's
fun.
totally good. I would like to see it. I mean,
Especially
it was
now.
It was fluffy. It was fun. I like things that are fluffy and fun.
That's cool. So, all right, in terms of Batgirl, though, if people haven't been reading Batgirl, could they grab the annual and then maybe keep going with this? Like, would this be like a place to get an idea of the character?
Yeah, easy peasy.
sure.
You could totally grab this before you jump into the next Batgirl story arc. It's a great jumping off point because the next story is just a little standalone Batgirl story where you sort of figure out who her friends are, where they play a role in her life in the Rebirth universe, which I know we don't get a strong sense of in her Rebirth, in Batgirl and the Birds of Prey or in Batgirl. So that little second story that sort of clarifies a lot of her relationships is really helpful if you're reading Rebirth and you don't have much of a background with this character.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, there you go. I think if you've been missing out on Batgirl, this is a great place to start. And it's the annual, so it's like you could just jump in and you get like 2 characters for the price of 1. Who doesn't want that? So moving away from the DC universe, let's go back to Marvel and to a character we don't see a lot on this show. But Orm's here today and he's going to talk to us about Spider-Woman.
I am.
Spider-Woman!
So, for those that don't know, Spider-Woman is my favorite character, superhero, just
Nice.
in general. So,
Or
I
I'm
w-
really sorry, can I tell an embarrassing grandson story about you and Spider-Woman really quick?
sure.
So while we were all shopping for the Power Rangers toys for the Power Ranger movie review video, Aram got his mitts on a little Spider-Woman Tsum Tsum, and he snuck it into the cart.
That's adorable.
He snuck it into the cart, and then he snuck it into all the Power Rangers toys, and Benny goes through the toys, and he's like, "What is this? Did you sneak a Spider-Woman toy into the Power Rangers toy?"
I did.
Looking one too.
It's great.
It was really funny, and then Aram was glued to the Spider-Woman toy for the whole weekend.
I applaud you, sir, for taking the initiative to do that.
Right? That sounds like every grocery store outing I've ever had with Danielle, one of our moderators. She just, except usually it's like we're in the aisle and she's like, "And now I will put 12 pounds of cornmeal into your cart and see if you notice." I'm like, I very obviously noticed that you've put all of that in there and I'm clearly not going to buy it. So
But we need cornmeal.
There's so much cornmeal, Danielle.
I don't need it. Thank you. So all
I
right,
offered to just real quick. I offered to pay Rob back for it.
uh-huh.
And he didn't really care. So
Aw, that's cool. Rob's a cool guy, so
Yeah.
Rob is very cool. Also, that Spider-Woman Tsum Tsum guest stars on a few episodes that we were recording while we were out there.
it
nice.
does. It's
Nice.
interesting.
Little sneak peek.
So
Also,
all right,
it's
so
apparently not-
Spider-Woman, she's the love of your life. What's
Yes.
been going on
No.
in
Wait. Hold on. She's not the love of my life. I just like her as a character.
His love is more pure than that, Tim.
Yes. Anyway, so her book, people think it got canceled. It probably did because no one cares about Spider-Woman except for me.
Honestly, I thought it was canceled.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people.
That's probably why it got canceled. But no, yeah. So this is the Spider-Woman 17 is the last issue of her current run and like Dennis Hopeless's epic that he's been writing for I think like 2 or 3 years now. I don't know. But ever since Spider-Verse, that's when her book got started and Dennis Hopeless started writing her. But yeah, it's bittersweet to me. Basically, what happens in this issue is she throws Jess like throws a party, like a superhero party, which is kind of like how the series started. Kind of bookended by this same party, and they make jokes about it, like Captain Marvel's flying around putting up lights, and she's like, "Hey Jess, do you want me to like put these lights the same way we had them last time?" And she's like, "I don't know, I don't remember. I had a baby since then. It's the whole thing." But yeah, it's basically just a nice wrap up issue where the biggest thing is that we learn that unsurprisingly Jerry, her son, has powers. He starts like Incredibles babying around and jumping all over the place, and he like blasts Spider-Man in the face. It's
Nice.
wild.
Does he have spider powers? Is he going to be another spider character?
He basically has Jess's powers from what we've seen. He can't fly, I don't think, but he was like walking on walls and doing venom blasts and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, he's. I mean, we there was kind of teased in Spider-Gwen when the alternate universe thing where they like clearly mentioned that one of the kids was Jess's kid, and he was all suited up and stuff. But yeah, so the issue just kind of ends with them very nicely, just like hanging out. She's got a boyfriend now, the Porcupine.
Oh,
He's kind
that
of a
happened. I
mess.
remembered him.
Yeah. They're real cute together. And yeah, the issue just kind of ends. And it's sad. Because now Spider-Woman's not going to get a book for 10 million years.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
That sucks. Maybe her son can take up the mantle of the Spider-Woman.
That's the thing, though. Like, she has a baby now.
guy.
They can't just write her off. They're either going to put her in another book
Yeah.
and just, like, shove her to the side, or they're just going to forget about her, which would
she'll
be
join
upsetting
another
to
team.
me. Yeah, she's going to, like, join a team of some kind.
They're reshuffling the Avengers after Secret Wars. I'm sure she'll be on one of the many Avengers.
They did actually. They hinted towards that a little bit because in the issue, for some reason, like Black Widow is kind of a bitch. She's just like walking around, and Jess is like, "Man, Black Widow is just telling me off about my boyfriend." And there's one point where Black Widow goes, "You belong in the big leagues, just going around being a PI, and you're bad at it." And we're like, "Whoa." calm down.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they're trying to at least sow the seeds of her like getting back into like the Avengers verse
Okay.
instead of just
Natasha being
her.
very judgmental for a person
Yeah,
like her.
she's
You wouldn't think a
very
Russian
judgy.
spy would be so judgy.
No, it was kind of confusing to me, but they have an interesting relationship, I guess.
Going around being a PI and you're bad at it. Some sick burns, man.
Let me ask you this: do they ever answer the mystery of who the dad actually was? Because I remember when I checked. Oh, okay. Because I remember when I was just checking out the first couple issues, that was like the big mystery of like, who's the dad? None of your business. Hey.
Technically, we still don't know because she just went to a sperm bank and just did her own thing because she just wanted to have a kid. So I thought that was the best option instead of it being like, it's Peter Parker!
Right.
Whoa! I hated everything if that happened.
They're gonna reveal that it's like some villain, like some like
D-list
villain.
I really hope not.
Some D-list villain that was down on his luck and had to go drop some off at the sperm bank. Had to make a deposit for some cash.
It was Boomerang. It makes sense because Boomerang used to be like a world star athlete there. He used to be in the major leagues as a baseball player. There you go.
If it's Porcupine, I would die. That would make a lot of sense, but because he was like, he's a reformed villain and he's like kind of a down on his luck, I need money and I turn to be a supervillain just because I need money type of guy. So that would make me very irritated, but at the same time, they could get away with it.
So overall, how did you feel? Like, was this an acceptable ending, or was it kind of like, wow, like not only is it not going on, but it's not what I wanted?
I think it was nice. It didn't feel like it was just abruptly canceled. Hopeless was able to finish his story very nicely, cool. And nothing felt like cut off too short or anything like that. So
let me ask you, how do you feel about his writing? Because I'm about to deal with him a lot because I love Doctor Strange, and Aaron will be closing his run, and he's moving to that. And if he messes it up, I'm going to his house with a 2x4, and I'm going to beat him into making it better.
I think he's a great writer. As someone,
sorry.
What, Caitlin?
I was going to say, if the movie Misery taught us anything, it's that you can get the ending you want as long as you have a couple very well-placed 2x4s and a cabin in the mountains.
That's right.
Perfect. But no, yeah, I think Hopeless's rating is perfectly fine. He is the... that's not to say that it's bad. It's just, like, nothing incredible.
Wonderfully adequate.
It does not inspire confidence, sir.
He's a good writer. He's a very good writer. But yeah, it's just nothing that like blew me away. Like somebody asked me on Twitter the other day what my dream comic book would be, and I was like, a Spider-Woman book written by Matt Fraction that doesn't get canceled.
Oh. And
the idea of that to me is just so cool to me because no one super amazing has written Spider-Woman in my opinion. So I want to see the day where like Hickman or Fraction or just someone can take Spider-Woman and really do something good to her.
Really makes it their pet project. It's like, I'm going to show everyone why this character is cool and why they matter.
And that's what Bendis did a while ago when he like was like, oh, I made Jessica Jones because we forgot about Jessica Drew.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's funny, I literally was just thinking that like she needs an alias, and then you brought that up. So there you go. Yeah.
I mean, she kind of did have one when she became an Agent of S.W.O.R.D. Like that's when her character got interesting, where she like tried to kill herself, and it was a whole thing. But yeah, that's when she got interesting, and that's when I started to notice her. And coincidentally, when I was starting to read comics, it was announced that she got a book, and now that book is over. So.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
It's going to be like a breakup. Dylan's going to be really sad for the next little bit.
I'm going to go cry. No.
All right.
I give him some space and some ice
cream.
cream.
So Spider-Woman, look, if you haven't been reading it, I feel like this is not the place to start, but that means that the trade will be coming out. You can go get that. Oren's going to blame all of you for not reading it. That's why his book got canceled. So it's really,
your fault.
Yeah, it's your fault at home. I'm sorry. Why would you do this? Why would you, like, now this is going to turn into one of those, like, Sarah McLachlan sad commercials where we're playing a piano and showing sad images of Oren being sad that Spider-Man was canceled.
You did this to him.
Exactly. It's just him and his cat.
It's just like
That's the one. That's it right there.
Over 3 Orums every hour have their favorite books canceled.
Yep, that's it. There you go.
For the price of a cup of coffee.
And much
You
like
too could save an Orum.
And much like every time that commercial comes on, I'm going to change the channel and we're going to go over to DC.
Nice.
And we're going to talk about Justice League America. Joel, what's going on with this crazy team?
It is a crazy team, and the book has only gotten crazier. So from Batman assembling this group of kind of like outcast, lower tier heroes to be like his own special strike force, they're now fighting the extremists who are these Marvel-inspired stand-ins. So you've got a Doctor Doom guy and a Mojo guy and a Wolverine guy. And the Doctor Doom guy's like, hey, this is a new Earth because I destroyed my Earth. I'm going to go find the Latveria stand-in in the DC universe, which is very reminiscent of modern-day Russia. And so he takes over in just a couple panels and puts an end to strife. And Batman's like, well, can't let this happen. Ooh, but they kind of like brought him in without any bloodshed. So if we fight him, we could start an international incident. So we're going to just back this rebel resistance against him now. But we don't really want to back them, though, because if we solve their problems for them, then they'll be coming to the Justice League for everything. Tell you what, we'll keep the superpowered guys busy. So, you get Lobo versus Wolverine guy. You get Killer Frost and Atom versus their Hellbat character. And, we'll do that, and then the rebels can fight their fight. Honestly, this was a very unfocused issue if my ramblings wasn't a dead giveaway that a lot happened in this.
I realized that I didn't know what you were saying about halfway through. I was like, what did I miss something? No.
Part of me was like, is Joel just describing some weird dream he had?
It felt like it.
This is an early Joel pitch script for DC. Hey, what do you think, guys? I got a little bit. You don't like that? All right, I'm gonna change it on the fly. Here we go. Where we go from here?
So here's the pitch: if Batman started the Suicide Squad instead of Amanda Waller, bam, $1 million movie. Sell that to WB, says Joel.
They'd buy it.
Probably.
It gets even weirder because, like, Batman and Vixen storm the Capitol to fight Lord Havoc, who is the Doctor Doom stand-in guy. And he's like, ha ha ha, well, you were fighting my henchmen. I brokered deals with other ruinous states around this nation, and so the borders you have been fighting for don't matter anymore because I've actually made my country bigger. And Batman's like, I'm not going to stand for that. I have Lady Liberty's shield from the Justice Society of America. And that makes a difference somehow. So, yeah, that was the issue.
It sounds like Doctor Doom's stand-in created and solidified his own nation.
He did.
And then Batman was like, well, I don't care if this has to go into international diplomacy from now on. I'm Batman, so you don't get your own nation.
That's what it was. Also, you're a villain from another universe. So
when is this happening with all the other stuff that Batman's doing?
That's my big question, too, and I even say this in my own video. I'm like, okay, so I thought the whole idea of the Justice League of America was to be, like, kind of stealth and kind of underground and for Batman to keep them in his back pocket for the inevitable fight with Dr. Manhattan or whatever's coming next. When he's doing this big, like, world stage, international fighting a tyrant thing, how long is it going to be before Superman and the rest of the Justice League takes notice? And when they do, are they going to be like, what the hell, Bruce? What are you doing?
Why did you create another Justice League, man? What's your problem? We're not good enough for you? It's like, nothing is good enough for Batman.
Batman's like, I need to see other people. They fulfill my needs. I need to go see Lobo to fulfill my needs.
I feel like, wasn't it?
Yep.
What needs are... No, you know what? Never mind.
They involve motorcycles.
You guys figure it out.
Tiff is like, what exactly are these needs?
If they involve... Look, that's you in special Lobo time, okay? I don't need to know about that.
You can tell the art
have a nice dinner.
I ship it.
You can tell the art team loves Lobo, too, because they are, like, several loving pages of Lobo just like hanging out on the bar, and then Lobo threatening the Wolverine guy, and he's smoking a cigar and the smoke is all billowing up in his face and he looks all crazy and everything. The art team had a really fun time drawing these fights.
I ship Lobo and Harley Quinn, which is why I am very happy that Little Black Book number 6 came out, because I've been waiting for that for a long ass time.
You know, I was the fun comedy character before you that everyone loved. You basically took my shtick.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel like, so I just kind of have one question for Joel because I did not read this issue, but wasn't it in the previous issue when Havoc took over these, I guess, weaker and disenfranchised nations and started creating his own country? Weren't the disenfranchised nations happier because he put an end to their constant civil war and was feeding them as long as they complied?
Yeah, I mean, he did it in a jerky supervillain way. It's like, join my new super nation and be happy, or I'll kill you.
Well, I mean, that makes it, I mean, and he went through a genuine effort to actually stabilize all of these countries. So I mean, is it that bad?
Well, it's funny, even the rebels who Batman's trying to help, the rebels at first are like, no, you and your masks and your superpowers, back off. We already had our country stolen by a bunch of people like you. We're not gonna, just climb into bed with another group of superpowered individuals. But then they do it anyway, so what was the point of arguing?
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's weird. I like JLA, but this issue was very unfocused, and I'm very like, what's the end game here for Lord Havoc? What is Batman and the team trying to stop now?
You want to know what the end game is, Joel?
What?
It's this.
I guess.
It's this. That's the end game, okay?
It's a pretty book, I'll say that much.
They're like, hey, let's just throw some characters together. And Batman!
Hey.
I still like it more than main Justice League, I'll say
fair.
that much.
That's fair. I totally understand that. So there you go. The Justice League of America. It's all over the place. Woo. Maybe they'll get themselves together at some point. But for now, let's talk about the infamous Iron Man. Number 6. I have a number for that one this time. I think a bunch of you guys read it, but Caitlin's going to start.
Yay! So Infamous Iron Man was most excellent. We actually got to go back in time to Reed Richards' relationship with Doctor Doom, which was very cool. We got to see we got to see Doctor Doom actually, when we flash back to modern day, engage in a fight between some old teammates, sort of further shedding, I guess, his villainous reputation. He gets into a conflict with S.H.I.E.L.D. because they apprehend him in the middle of this fight, and they're like, look, you're coming with me or shit's gonna get fucked up. And he's like, okay, here, I have a deal with you. You either let me go, or I'm going to make shit even more fucked up on my way out. And he's like, well, that sounds good. And then he flies away and he goes, by the way, you're a bitter, lonely old hag and you're nothing like Maria Hill. Bye!
Nice.
And that's kind of the end of the issue.
It's a good time.
So is this the beginning of a new arc? What is this?
Kind of. It's Bendis, so it's all one giant thing. One giant slow thing.
Well, I suppose the issue ends with more reveals about Reed's relationship with Doom's mom, and then, all of that going on, and we do get some pretty sweet reveals, but I didn't want to spoil anything, so
That's
I just kind of ended it on, you're an old hag, I want Maria Hill back, you suck, bye.
Alright, as long as something actually happens in this issue, then that's fine.
It's a lot of character development.
Stuff happens in this.
Yeah.
Bendis loves
very
that,
good.
and he is very good at that. Like, he's good at conversations.
Very true.
Oh, yeah.
The character arc is excellent. The dialogue is fantastic. The transition scenes are really cool. Like, we open with, like, Reed and Dr. Doom having an argument when they're working in the same lab together. And there's this awesome transition where Reed is like, if you, he was like, I would love to do you a favor and look over your work for you and really have this collaborative relationship with you, Mr. Doom. And and Mr. Doom basically goes, all right, well, maybe I can ask you for just one more favor then, since you're being so generous. How about you get out? Or like, he goes, be gone! And then right as he's yelling, be gone, it transitions to him in present day, whisking off in his infamous Iron Man suit to fight baddies. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, the transition, that art, so pretty, so flawless. This book is so gorgeous.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So, or you also read it, right?
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
I thought it was really cool to see Reed Richards again, not
Mm.
being a dick. Well, we also saw
Well,
that, but like
to be
actual
fair.
Reed Richards.
Right.
He's also just generally a dick, but like
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the shortening of his name.
Our
So
Reed.
yeah.
there you go.
Damn it,
You're right.
Dick Richards.
He was
People
destined
really
to be
do
a dick.
grow into their names.
Amazing. But yeah, I thought this book was really fun. The as is traditional Bendis, the last page reveal just felt kind of like, this book's over? Okay. Guess I'll wait another couple weeks.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just how he writes.
Yeah. That's very
With
true.
with the ending, it does transition over to Riri Williams taking off to go meet Doom.
It was gonna happen eventually.
Yeah,
so.
those
Yeah,
two
we all knew.
have to address one another.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's happening. But
But
it
the
just
way the way that
Go
she
ahead.
hears about Doom is she hears about it like over one of her scanners where it's like, oh man, Iron Man sighting. So many Iron Man sightings. And she's like, what? And then she just takes off.
Gotcha. Do they develop any? You don't have to tell me if it's spoilers here, but do they develop any more of the Doom's mom and?
Yes.
a little bit, yeah.
Yes, they do. We delve into that a little bit more, and there's a really good setup for us to get way more into that in the next issue.
Cool.
So I have a feeling they were a little bit light on it this issue, but they're going to go a lot more, I think, into who this Reed is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who this Reed is yet. I know a lot of people are like, Ultimate Reed? Well,
Right.
That was
but
my
we
thing.
don't have a confirmation yet.
Okay.
I have a feeling that'll be the next few issues. We'll get to there.
All right, that's very cool. All right, so Infamous Iron Man. I think a variety of people who've been on this show say this is a great book right now. Yes, it has
Okay.
the Bendis name attached to it, but it is a great book, and you should be reading it. Now we're gonna take a really random turn because, guys, every time I'm on this show, like I either read I'm like, okay, we're reading Superman Action Comics, I'm all on board for that, or I'm gonna read an indie book. Okay, cool. This time I was like, Green Lantern Space Ghost. Yes, please.
It's your speciality. It's your thing. It's what you bring to the
thing
table.
is what's the book nobody wants to read? I'll read it. Yeah, Green Lantern Space Ghost. With some written story by Tynan. I was like, really?
Oh.
What? Came out. It's a pretty hefty issue. It has a little backup. I didn't bother to read. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like a 38-page book of just the main story, so it's pretty cool. Literally, it's everything you've ever wanted. It's Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, gets a call from, I think it's Salak, and there's like a distress beacon somewhere, and he's gonna go find it. He goes into another dimension, essentially, and when he gets there, he finds Larfleeze. And I was like, are you kidding me? And Larfleeze is like, mine. And that's about the time that Space Ghost shows up. And Space Ghost is
Nice.
like, evil people, because he had been fighting Larfleeze. And he's like, you're just like Larfleeze. Because, you know, Space Ghost doesn't see color, I guess. He's very PC. And that's when
Fair enough.
Zorak shows up, and they all fight for a while, right? And that's about the time that Space Ghost and Green Lantern pretty much crash onto this planet where they think that this beacon was coming from, and they're kind of separated from one another. And one of my favorite moments in the book happens where like they end up being like confronted by the natives of the planet who are pretty technologically advanced, and they have all these robots, and they're like, hey, yo, our people think there's nothing out there, and we'd really like to keep it like that, so like, you gotta go. And by gotta go, I mean we're gonna kill you.
Please tell me at some point during this crossover they sit down and have a talk show segment.
They don't. At no point is there any talk show. That's the
That's
only
disappointing.
critique I have. But anyway, they're fighting, and Hal realizes, he's like, I gotta scare these guys away. He's like, what is the scariest thing in any dimension, in any part of the universe? I got it. Puts the ring out, and his construct is Batman.
What? What? Whoa.
Well, he is vengeance.
And they all flee, and he's like, score! And all I can think of is, that's gonna make a great story later on, where he's like, and then, Bruce, I made your face!
Awesome.
Then
Your
he just
face
scowls
was
at
the
him.
scariest thing in all the dimensions.
Right?
Thanks, buddy.
You are terrifying. So, I mean, overall, look, the issue's awesome. It deals with a lot of interesting things. Very, like, almost Star Trek The Next Generation with, like, the Prime Directive. Like, do we help them? Do we not? We gotta help them. Like, some people on the planet think that this is not truthful, like, that there are things beyond the stars and they want to go out there. And when they say that there's a great weapon here, the word weapon really translates as ship. And he wants Space Ghost and Green Lantern to help them. And the two of them eventually get over each other. And at one point, of course, they switch weapons. So Space Ghost has the ring for a very limited amount of time, and Green Lantern has the power bands, and it's just fun and silly, and it's just enjoyable. You know what I mean? It's just a fun romp with a great, like, buddy cop, like, in space kind of book, and like, just there you go, and like, it could continue or never again. Who cares? Because it was just fun. So yeah, I read that. I might go read the other ones because the Suicide Squad teamed up with the Banana Splits. I was like, maybe.
What?
Yes.
I love their theme song. I'll say that much.
So
One banana, two banana, three banana, four.
But like, it was fun.
For the cover. So
Yeah,
good.
the cover's awesome for that. But this is fun. Like, the art's a little weird because it's like really detailed on the characters, and then like the backgrounds are like the like photos where like someone will put a filter on them, kind of thing. Like, that's what it looks like. And that for me, I'm always like, ugh, no. Like, I like cohesion, and this is not cohesive at all. But Hal's written so like wonderfully, and he's just fun, and he's just enjoying himself, and Space Ghost is kind of a dick, and I just like those two together. It was just enjoyable. And in a week where there were very few comics, this was kind of a good move for them.
Yeah.
Because like, I normally wouldn't have bothered to pick this up if we had too much to read for the week. So good for you, DC.
Try something different.
Right?
Nice.
And with that, let's head back over to Marvel and talk about Black Widow number 17. Orem, what's going on with the Black Widow when she's not being a total jerk?
Spider-Woman.
Yeah, this is true. This one, actually, this one also ended. This is the last issue of Black Widow as well.
No way!
Yeah, weirdly enough. But I don't think this one got canceled, because
Right,
this
I was
one...
gonna say, Orem, you gotta stop liking comics, man, because...
You are the kiss of death.
Pretty soon we're not going to have any.
Everything I read dies.
Your fandom love is as caustic as hate. It just
No, but-
goes away.
Joel,
The-
rude.
The way that they say it in like the letters page seems like this is not something that it was a canceled thing, because it just ends the story that they've been going for the whole time. And the creative team doesn't seem like a creative team that wants to just continue a story for the sake of continuing a story. But anyway, the basically what happens in this issue is it wraps up the story that's been happening of like a new Red Room ish thing where Black Widow's like sister ish person, she like killed the person who trained them, and then trained a bunch of little girls to go blow up like all of S.H.I.E.L.D., like destroy everything within S.H.I.E.L.D. And Black Widow's like, no. So she goes and stops it and tells the kids that they can be better. They don't have to listen to her. They can make their own decisions. And it's interesting. Everything just kind of happens. This is a really good book, but I feel like it started real good and then just kind of slowly didn't get super bad, but not as good as it was. But it ended on an okay note. We got some really cool interactions between Natasha and Bucky a couple issues ago, which were fun. We got some... Oh, this one also takes place before Civil War II ended, so Maria Hill is still in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think this whole story takes place like within a month at some place before Civil War II happened. So yeah, we get basically because I feel like not a lot of people were reading this book. The start of the book is Natasha is inside a helicarrier with like top secret S.H.I.E.L.D. files in her hand, and there's like no text throughout the entire book, and she's just running from S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, it's really good.
That's
and
crazy.
that first arc is super good. But yeah, then you slowly find out that she was like blackmailed into doing it because of the Red Room plots and everything like that. And at the end, Maria Hill's like, I know you're not in the wrong here, so you're fine. Thanks for saving us, even though you couldn't tell us anything about it. But But yeah, it's a fun book. I imagine not a lot of people are reading it, so it's done now, so I'm sure the trade will be out soon, so go check it out.
That's cool. That's really like you know what? I like when stories come to a close and aren't canceled.
Yeah.
So that's always good because it's like the team had a chance to really like be like, all right, here's the story we want to tell, and then when it's done, and then instead of being like, by the way, you have 2 more books, so
right.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, this one definitely to compare to Spider-Woman a little bit. This one felt more so like they were done with their story. This is a self-contained Black Widow story, and sure, you can tell more with the Black Widow character, but the story that they told in here, there's not more that you want to know about. Whereas in Spider-Woman, it just kind of ended, but you still want to know about the newly blossomed relationship between her and Porcupine. You want to know about her kid. You want to know about where she's going to be. But Black Widow, this story is just kind of cemented, and it ended very nicely.
That's very cool. So there you go. I think based on Orm's, just general enjoyment of the book and his recommendations, I think you guys should definitely go out and pick up the trade when it is out. I'm sure there's a trade of it out already for some of the earlier issues. And if not, just be on the look for it. They get them out pretty quickly nowadays with all them newfangled technologies and all that.
Printers.
Right, exactly. So wait, are there any other books that you're reading right now that are canceled?
Wait,
We're
yeah,
reading the
actually.
new Ghost Rider.
No,
Oh my
God, no.
Oh my goodness.
Something else I heard did get canceled that made me sad. Wait,
be fair-
Silk, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that.
Do me a favor, make sure you're reading the Dan Slott run of Spider-Man.
Dumb tip.
Anyway, Joel, we had a couple of annuals come out this week. We already talked about Batgirl. Titans had an annual, the annual number 1, as opposed to the annual number 2. So what happened?
This was a really solid story, and it started with a really good, really necessary premise, and that is, hey, now that we have reestablished the Titans, kind of fixed their history and everything, now we need to kind of fix and reestablish their relationship with the Leaguers and their hero mentors. So it's basically like, have you ever been to one of those trapped rooms? They basically do one of that. They all wake up in this building. They don't know how they got there. And the whole story basically spins on this whole axis of paranoia where it's like, well, why are we here? Well, I don't know if you're really Dick Grayson. I mean, you could be, but I don't know, because they keep getting attacked by robots and parademons that are like really advanced simulations. So they don't know if they can trust each other, but they're going to have to trust each other if they want to solve the puzzles of this room and escape. And what's really cool is they actually dig out a great obscure villain to kind of puppeteer this whole thing. It's the Key, of all people. Who remembers the Key?
Nope.
He's a weird-ass 60s villain, and he was in the cartoon for a minute. They give him a great redesign in this. Basically, yes, he was, for like a second. They give him a great redesign in this new thing where he looks really freaky and creepy. He looks like a Marilyn Manson extra. And they keep most of his origin where he's like, I used to be a scientist for Intergang making their drugs, but I experimented with one too many psychochems, and it expanded my mind, and I could open all doors with my mind, man, and now I'm obsessed with secrets.
He took way too much LSD, and now he has superpowers.
That's like the number one thing you're not supposed to do. You don't sample the product that you're making or selling, right? Like, come on.
He was bad at his job, the Key. But his thing is like, okay, if I put all these Leaguers in one room, and he's working for a shadow person who we never find out who they are. But it's like, look, if I keep them all in the same room, they'll fight each other, they'll tear each other apart, and I will know all their secrets. I will unlock all of their secrets.
Well, it's just one of those room escapes where you have to click everything, and you don't know when you've actually clicked on something, and you have to hit the tab a whole bunch. And it doesn't really work so well, and so you get so frustrated that you just like punch your fist through the screen. Because if so, then I totally buy that they will definitely kill each other.
That's pretty much exactly how it goes down. Actually, you are so correct. It's not even funny. That's how they escape. It's funnier too because it's only the Titans who have counterparts on the League. So Superman, the 2 Green Lanterns, and Arsenal, as well as Cyborg, they kind of get left behind being like, hey, where the hell did our team go? And so they're working it from the other end trying to find them.
Oh.
I just thought it was interesting. Like, sorry, Roy, we know you have a long history with your mentor, Green Arrow, but he's not on the Justice League, so you got to sit out on this one, Roy. You don't get to play. Also, hey, if you're a Wonder Woman fan and you're really interested to see what they do with her relationship with Donna Troy, because that's kind of been up in the air and there's a lot of like hanging threads, they do something interesting with their relationship in this and they get them a little closer. So there's that. Yeah, little closer. They get this is the universal sign for closer. They get a little closer.
Okay. I didn't know. I know now. I'm educated now. Thank
You're
you.
out of the loop.
And then they punch each other like this a lot.
Oh, okay.
Sure. So much like I asked with Batgirl, is this a good place if people haven't been reading the Titans for you to get involved with the Titans and maybe like get an idea of what the team's about, or we better start elsewhere?
I think you should start elsewhere because this one pretty much assumes you know everything that's going on with the Titans right now. Like they make a lot of allusions to Wally and them all being friends before and everything that's kind of come before that. So yeah, I would say start somewhere else. This isn't the best place to jump in.
All right, cool. But if you're a Titans fan, maybe grab this.
Oh yeah. If you're a fan, you'll love the hell out of this one.
Awesome. Very cool.
Nice.
So all right, now let's go over to Logan, which I think a bunch of people here read. Not me. I was too busy reading Green Lantern and Space Ghost to read the amazing book that is Logan. So why don't you guys tell me about it, Caitlin?
So Logan was interesting this week.
Oh.
So Logan, basically where we left off was Logan broke into prisons of S.H.I.E.L.D. and was going to release I'm trying to remember his name. Joel, do you remember?
Asmodeus.
Yeah,
Asmodeus. I keep forgetting his name.
D-list Doctor Strange bad guy.
Asmodeus
Yep,
also sounds like a spell from Harry Potter, so...
I was thinking about it, and I was like, his name is definitely not Lumos.
Definitely something.
So,
Accio, that was the guy.
Accio, that's right. Accio Modius.
There you go.
So Aciotus winds up getting freed by Logan, and Logan brings him his costume and his scepter. I'm sure he could have just brought him his scepter, and that would have been fine, but, you know, Wolverine's considerate like that.
Gotta complete the outfit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he broke in, so basically when he was meeting with Doctor Strange and being like, can you help me travel back in time to potentially bring back the horrible future that was wrought upon the world so that I can get this baby Hulk and then return back to this time? And Doctor Strange was like, no, we're not doing that, Logan. You're going to have to learn to let go of things. And Logan was like, hold my beer. And then he goes and he takes Accio's costume and his scepter and brings it to the prison, beats up Miles Morales, gets into the prison, goes, here's your costume. Asmodeus is like, great, Expelliarmus. And then they teleport. That's not a teleportation spell. I know that. But then
everybody stop for a hot second. But what costume was Doctor Strange wearing?
The proper one.
The good
costume.
No,
current one.
I like the Aaron Blue one. I'm just saying. I just wanted to know. I'm trying to get the mental image in my head, guys. All right, you said his name. So
speaking of wizards and Jersey, you'd love this. Asmodeus, he actually is from Jersey, as we find out.
Yes.
So Asmodeus teleports them to a storage yard in New Jersey. So he's like, Accio, New Jersey, and then they show up in New Jersey, and Wolverine's like, Are you kidding me? We're in Jersey? What? And he's like, okay, not all of us have money, all right? Not all of us live in X mansions and sanctum santorums. Okay, some of us have storage garage.
Yeah, they're in like a storage locker in the middle of nowhere.
So
pretty great.
Okay, guys, hold on. Let me explain to you a little something about New Jersey here. All right,
Please
everybody
do.
thinks that just because our airport is in the middle of Newark, that's all we have. But we also have rich farmlands and pine barrens where there's a
Cherry Hill.
devil, and we also we got Cherry Hill, and we have the shore. You can get a little bit of everything everywhere. We even have one of the most dangerous cities in America.
Hey.
you know what?
We got
Snooki
it all.
comes from there. Snooki comes from there.
No,
And J-Cow.
they technically don't. They're all from Long Island, and they come out because all right. So there's a phrase down in South Jersey called bennies, right, which is hilarious. Because you know one of those. But so what? It's difficult to trace where that word came from. We're going on a little bit of side quest here, guys, because you triggered me with Jersey and Doctor Strange. It either comes from the fact that they would a lot of people would come from New York because they didn't really have access to a beach up there, and they would come down and they would spend the entire summer down there, essentially all the locals would be like, well, now everyone's here, and what am I going to do? And they would spend their Benjamins, essentially, right? So they went to that. It also can just indicate someone who, another word is a shoebie, too, by the way, because that's someone who wears shoes on the beach where they normally don't.
I've heard shoebie before.
Yes.
That's a California thing, too.
But technically, that show you saw, the Jersey Shore, that was everybody who came from the New York, Long Island area, came down to the beach, and then the whole rest of the world was like, that's what the New Jersey Shore is like. That's what the locals are like. Every local there was like, no.
Why you got to ruin it for us like
They're
this?
like, because we couldn't put you on because you're boring, because you're just people who live by a beach.
How dare you be regular people that live by a beach?
Exactly.
You're not trashy enough and won't start enough fights.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're too mentally stable.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah.
So, they go to Jersey where all the normal people are, and they open the storage locker, and Akio Modus is like, okay, so I gotta get a lot of valuable magic tools to do some blood magic to send you back to a time that doesn't exist anymore. Oh. And he's like, okay, sure. Wolverine's like, yeah, I'll do it. As long as you send me back proper, this is great. So they do some blood magic whoop-de-doo, and then Wolverine's soul gets sucked out of his body. His old man Logan body is pretty much left on the floor dead. And he's
kind of like the movie I found interesting. Kind of like, what is it, Days of Future Past? They pull the same trick.
Yep. So his body's there, and then his current time soul is transported into his younger body. And we're like, oh no, younger Wolverine shouldn't be here because he was supposed to go to Dafucha and do some stuff in the wastes. And he's like, oh no, I'm in Canada running from Mounties.
No. It was the War of 1812.
Yes.
He was running from Americans.
Sorry, he was running from Americans in the War of 1812 as Canada's greatest assassin.
I love that so much. Logan, the deadliest Canadian who ever lived.
I love it when they capture him too, and they're like, "We have him, Canada's most deadly assassin."
Loved it. Loved everything about it.
He brought gifts.
Wolverine was the one who burned down the White House in 1812. We're gonna see it, I bet.
I'm actually kind of excited for that because I really want to see him burn down the White House in 1812 and relive that past. But you can see, the look of dread dawn on Old Man Logan's face, and he's like, you mean I have to wait another couple hundreds of years before the waste happens?
I'm guessing because of the, title of this story arc, which is, it's, something here's something or whatever. I think each issue is going to be, a different timeline.
Yeah.
So, whatever, because Akio Boy said that the spell only lasts 4 days or something. So I imagine that each day he's going to be yanked closer to the wastelands until he just ends up there and is probably stuck.
In fact, the cover for the next issue that we get to see is him in his original costume from his first appearance when he was fighting the Hulk. I'm like, oh, please revisit that.
That'd be so fun.
They're going on the Memberberry ride. Remember
the time he did this?
That's...
And I do remember those times.
I know, we're going to be flipping through these issues going, I remember this.
I feel like this is one of those stories that is going to read phenomenally in a trade.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's not issue
definitely.
to issue, but I feel like it's going to be even stronger when you can just, consume it all, at once.
This is going to be a Netflix kind of thing where you got to binge it.
Mm-hmm.
We also got an art change in this issue as well.
Really?
Which I didn't. The art's fine, but I just don't. I don't like it changing from Andrea Sorrentino.
Yeah, it's no
Their art is so good.
I don't like change, says Aro.
No. Well, it's fine if it's this art's fine. It's just not as good and doesn't fit the tone as well as the other artists.
Much more exaggerated.
Yeah, definitely. It's more cartoony than I would like.
Most
but who knows?
I like this comment in the chat, though. Remember when he brutally murdered all his friends? Remember?
That did happen.
That was good times. That's happened a couple times.
Remember when Magneto sucked all the metal out of his body? That happened.
And,
We don't talk about that.
He had a harsh life.
Wolverine you want to hear more about how messed up and awful Wolverine is, go over to my channel and look at the Tragedy of Logan video.
Get
Very
your plugs
sad.
out of here.
Or watch Required Reading on Cave Jewel, where I talk about a lot of these stories.
You know what, Joel? Get out.
I reviewed the movie.
Or go watch back issues where you get to hear Ethan say, what's he gonna do with that Hulk baby?
Apparently a lot, according to
I
this
guess
thing.
so. I'll never forget that. Ethan could not get over that. We got through the whole Man Logan story. He's like,
That
no,
Hulk
I remember that. That was fun.
what is he gonna do with the Hulk baby though? It's a baby, and it's a Hulk.
He's gonna raise it. I mean, I love when we get the flashback in Old Man Logan where he has parental guilt, and you see the Hulk baby all grown up being like, "You could have raised me like a son, and we would have had a happy childhood. I would have replaced the family you lost, but no."
Now I'm the warlord of the wasteland.
And then they had a floating Ethan head that was like, oh, that's what he did with that Hulk baby.
Floating up in the corner.
People would be so confused.
People will be like, "This isn't the story I remember."
I love
What's
evil
Floating
warlord.
Head doing there?
Can I just say too? I love Warlord of the Wasteland's costume choice: Viking helmet, fur boa, blue jeans.
I mean, that is definitely like Hulk couture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because old man Banner and the Hulk family, that was some TLC's I live in the sticks kind of. Yes.
I gotta ask you, Joel. Have you ever? I'm sure you have, but have you heard of what we refer to as the Canadian tuxedo?
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
Jean jackets, jean shirts, and jeans.
And jeans themselves, right? Yeah, exactly. That's like a Canadian Viking.
Yeah, pretty much. Just stick some horns on his head. He's
Yeah.
ready to go.
And you're good. You're good.
Canadian Vikings.
Yeah. So
Someone
okay,
said
Logan,
Dynasty.
Logan powers on essentially. If people haven't been reading, can they pick it up now, or should
Yeah.
they go back, or whatever?
Yeah.
There's a good. You could pick up now and pretty much know what's going on.
I would say either start with the next issue or the last issue.
Yeah.
Because this one's kind of a weird transitional between two story arcs.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. So we got 2 more books, guys. I'm gonna go next. And I'm gonna talk to you about Man Thing number 2. This is one of those things that, like, I was like, R.L. Stein's writing a Man Thing book. Everybody go get it. Read the first issue. I'm sorry, everybody.
I did a bad.
I did do a bad, and then I literally, we did a quick stream where, like, I was playing Overwatch, and I just apologized to everybody for telling them to go read Man Thing. So I said I would keep reading it, and I did, and, okay. I don't know what
Are
I
you
thought
okay?
this was going to be, but it's not what I thought it was going to be at all. Okay. I remember R.L. Stein stories. I remember them being a little kitschy. They were for kids, you know what I mean? I know he also wrote, like, Fear Street, and he's written other things, you know what I mean? Like, he's done a lot of different stories. This is, like, I literally, going through this book, I had 3 different things that this is like. This is like R.L. Stein's writing a B-horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is like R.L. Stein is writing dad jokes. And this is like R.L. Stein is running a D&D campaign. All at the same time. And it's just not going to be over soon enough for me.
Ouch.
It'll get canceled. I'll start reading it, so it'll get
Thank
canceled.
you. Thank you, Ori. I appreciate that. I really do.
It's only a
5-issue
mini-series.
So I'm
Okay.
I'm like almost halfway through. For me, it just comes down to a really weird juxtaposition of a narration that is, again, like this D&D, like there's a GM who's telling me what's happening as it's happening. It's like, oh yeah, and then this happened, and then that happened, and I'm like, and Man Thing's horrific dad jokes.
He doesn't strike me as a dad joke type of character.
And
but-
No.
it's just
Dad
Not at all.
joke so far. Best
Right.
one so far. I gotta know.
the best one so far. Oh, okay, hang on. I got my Comixology copy of it right here because I was like, hey, I have to spend money on this.
Comixology doesn't support the show, but we think they should, though.
I literally was like, hey, Marvel, take some cash of mine because I hate myself. And look, I get it. For some people, this is totally up their alley, right? But like, his backups in this, his mini stories, his like classic tales of horror kind of stuff, I think is way better and like just a legitimate thing where it's like, oh, here's like a fun little campfire story, and I feel like that's what he's trying to do with this, but he can't. And yes, Man-Thing is supposed to be mute, and in this story he becomes mute again, and it's all in his head now, and it's just like, we're stringing together a series of events where I'm like, we're going somewhere with this, clearly, but we're taking too long to get to what the actual main plot of this is, and on top of it, it's just terrible, terrible jokes. Let's see!
Giant-sized man jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it just the word man thing in the joke every time?
No.
He's just like, watch out for my man thing.
Which Marvel's already made that joke when they had Marvel Presents Giant-Sized Man Thing.
And here's the thing. You know what it is? It's literally every thought he has is horrific. And this isn't even a terrible man thing, like dad joke. He meets Lily, right, in the swamp, and he's like, you were like my partner, like when I was a doctor, and blah blah blah, and like, do you recognize me? And of course she doesn't, because he's Man-Thing. But, like, as she's, like, fleeing from him, he goes, don't let my looks fool you. Beauty is only skin deep. I'm like, come on. Come on. Why? Is that what you were like in real life? How were you a scientist? How did anyone give you a job? Like, the interview couldn't have gone well for you, right? Like...
Now that's a book I want to read.
I want to read his failure as a scientist.
Him interviewing for that job.
Okay, for example...
Thank God. Yes.
He takes 2 giant snakes and ties them in a knot and then thinks, who won this battle? I guess it's a tie.
Ah!
Whackity schmackity doo.
Excuse me, sir, did you bring your resume to this interview, Mr. Thing? No, you see, resumes come from the inside.
Yeah.
You're not going to be working here, I'm sorry.
My smile, that's my resume.
Sorry. And like again, part of his thing is he went into the military and like he did scientific experiments and then he took the serum and all that stuff, right? But like he's in the military. I don't know. Like you think they'd be like, you gotta make that stop, okay? These are very dangerous chemicals you're dealing with, and the last thing we need is you making dad jokes. Okay, I just want to put that out there. So look, my problem really comes down to yes, it's something I didn't expect, right? And usually I can get over that. It's just this story is so all over the place that it's like on top of all of that, I got the dad jokes and the B movie, which I don't mind so much sometimes, and the fact that it's not at all scary, and the fact that it's not really even like a for a hot second in this issue, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get a real like examination of like the idea of the human like psyche being taken over by the monster, and where does the man end and the monster begin? No.
Oh.
No.
There was like one panel, I was like, oh, cool. Oh, no, never mind. Dad joke? Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Wow.
What we're going with.
That's what we're doing here? Okay, well, got 3 more issues to go.
I feel like the publishers were like, all right, so for this issue of Giant-Sized Man-Thing, we really want it to be campy. And they were like, got it. Dad joke. No. We said campy. Okay, so puns? No, wait. No. Oh.
Hold on. We could do better.
we got this.
We got this. We can do better than campy.
Yeah. So
hold my pencil.
I don't know. I again, like, I just wish the story was tighter. I could deal with all the other stuff. I could get past that if it was just a strong story, and the backups weren't my favorite part of it. Because I'm just like, hooray, silly, like, you know, stories. Like, remember those old books that were, like, black and white, and they were, like, stories to scare you, or whatever the hell they're called?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the backups remind me of, and I'm like, that's fun!
Okay.
You literally should have just made a book of those, and I would have bought that, and I would have really enjoyed it, instead of trying to shoehorn R.L. Stein into the Marvel Universe with something like this. So...
why couldn't we just have, like, some revamped Goosebumps comics?
Because
like that shark story, that Goosebumps shark story, it's really good. It's, like, one of my favorites.
Yeah. No.
Shark.
No. Because Man-Thing. Yeah.
Man-Thing. No.
Yeah. He makes a terrible joke about a shoe. Lily loses her boot.
I can't fit my huge man thing in this shoe.
No, because that at least would be, like, kind of edgy. No, he picks it up and he's just like, this really wouldn't, like, he says something like, this really wouldn't fit me. I'm a size 412.
Ah,
So, man
he'll
thing.
be here all week, everybody.
Tip your waitresses.
He's bottom rung on the signups. He's the guy who's going at 4 a.m. at the open mic.
Right? And here's what's funny. I literally just recently saw Man Thing very briefly in a Doctor Strange comic where he was your standard Man Thing, like just the monster essentially. Like we don't hear his thoughts. He's just scary and cool and crazy and fun and yay. And then I got this and I was like, damn it. So there you go.
Whoops.
Ruin it like that. I feel like it's kind of like, guys, we really have to revive giant-sized Man Thing because, he can't get any worse from this point on. And then the writers were like, hold my beer.
Oh yeah, challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Hold my Man Thing.
Yeah, I got this. I gotta make some calls.
Gotta make some calls about this Man Thing. And
Right.
by Man Thing, I mean my dick.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're saying is the book should have just been one giant, 22-page penis joke.
Right, which I
Is
guess
Oh, I would buy that.
it would have been better.
And you know what? Amy Schumer could have written it.
It's fine.
Gold.
Done.
I like Trainwreck.
Yep.
Yes.
It would have been fun. So, all right, that's that. We're not gonna talk about that anymore until Man Thing number 3 comes out.
Oh
And
no.
maybe it'll be awesome. Maybe I'll be sitting here and be
Who
like,
knows?
guys, if you could just ignore the first 2 issues, Man Thing number 3, that's where it's at. Because R.L. Stein must have come out of his drug-addled coma that he was in. And now he's actually writing something for reals. No, that's not gonna happen.
He was
So
just
let me-
a lot of Percocet.
Exactly. So how about instead we talk about Captain Marvel number 3 with Orem. Is this book being canceled?
Probably not,
Okay.
because it's Captain Marvel.
Reading it, Ara.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. No, this one was really good, surprisingly, because the first couple issues of this haven't been great. But yeah, this one opened with a really fun monologue from Carol, and there's a lot of Carl Sagan Cosmos references in this,
Ooh.
which was fun. Not a super whole lot happens. She just kind of, so far the series has been basically, there's this bounty hunter dude who's trying to track down this Kree child because Hala blew up or something, and
Or something.
she's so I don't know. And basically we find out in this issue that so through the course of this book so far, Carol's powers have been going out of whack and she's been blowing stuff up.
Oops.
And everyone's real confused as to why it's happening. And we find out in this issue through 6 pages of techno babble, which I still don't understand, that it's the kid. Apparently she's allergic to kids.
Oh.
And-
Is she, wait. Was the techno babble something along the lines of, Captain Marvel, your powers are going out of whack because we have to triangulate the powers?
it's something like HLA markers, and certain people have these HLA markers in them from Hala being blown up, and this kid has one on her, and because of that, whenever Carol's too in close proximity with this kid for too much, she starts laserizing out all over the place. It's bizarre.
I'm
But
just kind of
it's
wondering
fun.
what kind of bread, how does Hala bread really...
no, but yeah, it's a book that exists, and
Let
It'll
me
book-
ask you this, because you
Sure.
seem to be really up to date on the Captain Marvel thing. How do you feel as a fan that they made her such this really unsympathetic villain in Civil War 2, and yet they are also building her up now as one of the only bulwarks to stop Hydra Captain America in that book as well?
So I think what they're doing is a good save, because Bendis ruined her in Civil
Yep.
War 2, and that was not the plan. I refuse to believe that was the plan. Bendis just fucked up.
I am still so mad about that.
Yeah.
Why did they have to turn Tony and Carol into Trump and Clinton? Why do you have to do that? We
It
already
wasn't
had to deal
necessary.
with life. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna cut myself off, Tiffany.
Oh.
I'm gonna get going again about Civil War 2.
No, yeah. So,
Get the stakes. So mad.
so the Carol being something that also happens in this issue is we get another Tony Stark AI that pops up.
Oh.
And because she goes to like to figure out like this technobabble stuff, she goes to like a Stark site in Antarctica or something, and she opens it and there's like this ice behemoth who pops out, and then a Tony Stark AI comes up. It's pretty cool.
And then it becomes the Thing.
Yup.
And Kurt Russell shows up, and he's got like an awesome beard and a cowboy hat, and you're like,
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh shit, that's Kurt Russell!
Yeah, I'm in!
I mean, incredible, but it doesn't happen,
Incredible Kurt
unfortunately.
Russell.
Yep.
Yes.
No, but yeah, there's some they have an interesting dynamic where it's not very clear when this like where this AI of Tony is from, like what point in his life he's at, but he seems to know about Civil War II, but also doesn't. It's a little bit weird. There's a moment in the comic where Carol's apologizing to the AI, and he's like, I'm not him, right? And Carol's like, just shut up, let me do this.
I need this.
and
Carol
I
needs
need
this right
closure,
now.
you stupid AI.
Lots of good character development in this issue, Mighty Captain Marvel #3. We got the Stark AI. They had a nice moment, and it seems like they're shaping her up to be an interesting character where she has a lot of guilt to deal with Civil War II. I'm glad they're not just ignoring it and fixing it right off the bat. They're heavily addressing it.
That's cool. Does she still have the cat, or is that not a thing anymore?
I think the cat died.
Oh no.
I remember something in like the first or second issue. Also the body the like bounty hunter person is a shapeshifter. So they had one of the classic like he could be anyone, and then it turned out to be the cat.
Right.
So and I don't think we've seen the cat since. So I think the cat might be dead. I don't remember. There's a cat. My cat's sleeping.
Pet
Yeah.
life.
Wanda-
Everyone's got an animal but me, stupid no pet condo.
Yay. My
Oh,
pretty
pet.
Princess Kaylee.
Oh, kitty.
Also curse my own
You have an
allergies.
orange tabby too.
Her name is Wanda, and her brother
Oh.
will be Pietro.
Oh, nice.
That's
I
awesome.
like how this became a pet stream.
I know. We
Like
have, we
it
have
was rough
Katie
there.
and we have Wash.
Nice.
Amazing.
Of course, our Firefly
Oh,
babies. So okay, before there's fur. Before we leave, I know none of us 100% read the X-Men or the Inhumans.
Nope.
My cat does not look annoyed. She's looking down. She's
Look at other things.
yeah. Trust me, she's way more interested in the cat toy that I have on my desk. Because I'm a cat. But why don't we just talk a little bit about that which we know about the X-Men and the Inhumans. They both have number ones. Their fight, their conflict is over. So, thoughts on either of them? Let's start with Joel.
Yeah, I skimmed X-Men before I came in here. I was going to read the whole thing, but I very firmly said this before I even talked about it with Sal on the poll the other day. I don't think the X-Men comics are going to improve, like, substantially and stay improved until they settle all this business with the movies. I think they will do what they continue to do, and they will just be in an endless state of fresh starts and new number ones. And, well, that didn't work. Let's take it all back to the drawing board again. It looks interesting, this one. I mean, the primes is what they are. It's prime number one. It's not an official number one. It's basically a look at, like, hey, here's some stories you can read in the new line of X-Men books that are coming out. So Storm comes to Kitty Pryde and is like, hey, you haven't done much in a bit. You were in the Guardians. How would you like to lead an X-Men team? And she's like, yep, can do that.
Want to go make a comic book?
So, alright guys, so we'll be back next week with an all-new, all-exciting episode of The Poll, unless something horrific happens, to the internet, I guess. I don't know what else can happen.
Anything can happen.
It all comes crashing down on us. But before we go, I would love to know what's going on each of your channels and where we can find you. And Orem, you're our special guest this week, so what's happening?
Link to my channel is youtube.com/oremscomics. If you don't know what I do over there, currently I only upload once a week, every Saturday, and most of the time it's my show, The Show with Reviews, where I review 3 comics normally. Lately it's been movies and TV shows because those have been coming out a lot. But When is like the uploaded version of this go up?
As soon as the video is pulled, edited together, so should be
Okay.
possibly tomorrow, maybe Saturday.
Cool. So either today or tomorrow, Saturday, April 1st, wink wink, I have a video going up that's gonna be fun. It's a big old collab with a bunch of people I haven't started working on it yet, but I've gotten a lot of the clips in, and it is shaping up to be one of my favorite videos that I have done.
Will we know the people in this collaboration by chance?
Potentially, Joel.
Well, that's good.
But no, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've got a Batgirl video coming up next week, which is it's coincidental. I'm not capitalizing on anything, I promise.
What?
But
Why
yeah.
would you capitalize?
I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a guy. God,
This is a man, okay? Everybody
just a
just a
just a
man.
boy trying to make videos over
should
here.
make his way through the internet landscape.
I'm
Yeah.
just a baby named Aram reading comics in a
That's
corner.
me in a corner. It's not Orem's corner. I swear to God, it's Orem's comics.
It's Orem's Comics. You can go find him. It's awesome. You should head on over there. Caitlin, what's going on with you?
Yeah. Well, Aram's Corner is definitely one of my favorite channels.
Oh God, I'll take
So-
it. I don't-
Over on my channel at That Sea Monster, spelled with a C, not C as in the ocean, C as in Caitlin, / cookies / anything else that starts with a C.
Did you forget your name for a minute there?
Yeah, you know,
Caitlin.
What?
I just kind of had a conniption there, just had a little fit.
Fair enough.
But I do these awesome videos called Rule of Three, where they're story and review videos of the first 3 comics in a series or story arc, where I let you know what that's all about and if it's worth it to put it in your pull box, because I don't think you should spend your money on crap. So I'll spend my money on crap and then let you decide. That's the official tagline of the show.
We'll spend Benny's money on crap.
Spend Benny's money on crap, and then I'll let you decide if it's worth spending your money on crap. So I have a Batgirl video coming out about that this weekend. I am definitely capitalizing on Batgirl. I'm shameless, so God will judge me. And then I also have list videos, recommendations, and I do a lot of live streaming. So if you guys like streaming and if you ever want to talk to me or hurl insults at me, all I ask is that you attach that insult to a tip in the super chat, and I will gladly read it out loud to my humiliation. And if you want to do that, please come join me over on my channel, That Sea Monster, spelled with a C.
All right,
This one.
there we go. And Mr. Joel from Canada.
Yes, that is me. That is where I'm
Canadian
from.
Joel.
Canadian Joel. If you head on over to the Cape Joel channel, you can actually listen to the 50th episode of the Comic Multiverse. That's the show I do with Matt every Wednesday. We talk about the comics of the week, we talk about news, but we also do our spoiler cast on the Power Rangers movie. If you're still interested in that one, check that one out. And, of course, I'll have reviews coming out all week long. And seeing as everyone else is doing a Batgirl video, maybe I should fire one together, too, for no specific reason.
You know what, Joseph?
Yes, Caitlin?
I don't appreciate this kind of competition. Nobody can do Batgirl videos
Mine's
but
been
me.
playing for like a month. Kaylee, you know that book I was reading?
Get
That's
out.
what it was for.
Oh. All right. Meanwhile, over on Comic Pop, you will find no Batgirl videos coming out this weekend, or next week. Because screw it. What you will find is Sal didn't tell me what was coming out, so I'm gonna wing it. Bacchus just came out. It was Superman Speeding Bullets. If you don't know what that is, it's an Elseworlds book where what would happen if Kal-El landed in Gotham and the Waynes picked him up. And it's
Fun?
crazy.
That sounds
Crazy book. The guys had a blast with that. You can also find the Elseworlds Exchange, where not only did you get one Elseworlds Exchange with Joel and Sal this week, where they talked about their favorite comic book teams, but you can find a whole second one that Sal recorded with Brad Geiger talking about NSW comics, or NSFW comics, which is a lot of fun because Brad has a lot of experience with that, and he talks to you about the whole making of money through that and what it's like to do that kind of thing. So very interesting. At one point, I know Brad. I haven't really seen him in a while, but you can't forget Brad Geiger. But he tries to remember my name and calls me Tara, which I was like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I could be the villainous Tara. I'm good.
I'll take.
Totally
So-
good.
I've
I'm
seen
curious.
Tiff move the earth once
Will-
with her
I
mind.
know. It was real scary.
Will they be able to explain to me what happens when a man and a woman love each other very much? Because my dad was interrupted during that conversation when I was a child, and we never went back to it. And I'm so
Oh no.
confused.
I literally was listening to this hilariously at work for a bit before I had to actually
Whoops.
go do work. But I do recall them talking about the various permutations of sexual organs in panels and how you got to switch it up sometimes. So I don't know what happened after that because I had to go. But you could definitely check that out. And I got to tell you guys, as a little bit of a like a spoiler or a little like hype of something coming up, we're actually going to be recording another Elseworlds tomorrow, which I don't know when that's going to come out, with a fan favorite who has been on the channel before. He is a gentleman who is well read, very intelligent, does some kind of cracking unboxings, if you will, on his own channel. We're very excited to have him back. I'm excited I get to talk to him this time with Sal, so I can't wait for that. So you can find all that over on Comic Pop. Yeah, that's it. We did it all. We did the 4th week of comics, guys.
Woo!
I'm very proud of us. We made it through. And we didn't, kill anybody.
Booyah.
So that's
Yeah.
not bad.
Well, I
Or-
killed like 2 books and stream a couple times.
Yeah, you
but-
did.
Yeah.
You totally did
It's
that.
fine.
I don't know how you did that. Literally
You
never.
did light a couple things on fire too, Arm.
Yeah, never.
We
I've
made
never
it through.
Seen that.
That's why we call him Killer Orin.
Mwah.
A
Um,
baby from the killer.
It's like Ichi the Killer, but with Oro.
Right.
That's the goal. Thank you.
But you guys can join us every Tuesday for the weekly pull right here on this Twitch channel. You can also catch us every Thursday to check out this show. We talk about the books that came out that week and just let you know what we thought about them. Pick them up, don't pick them up. I don't know. There's no other version of that, really. It's an either or. It's a
can,
1
like-
or a 0.
You can go to the store, pick it up, and then not buy it.
Oh, you could be
Oh,
that guy. You could be
Yeah.
that guy.
Could be.
Oh.
Read it in the store.
Damn,
Which
Arm.
is
Be that
fine. I've
dude.
done that a couple times. But also you can check out the Discord. I have no doubt that some of our wonderful, fabulous, awesome moderators will put that right there, where you can hang out with the Weekly Pull folk outside of the Weekly Pull. What? But that's pretty much it for us. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, talking comics, and just being amazing. I'm Tiffany, and we'll see you guys next time. Keep reading.